I can't find out how it got that name, Devil's Garden. So I've decided to make up my own story. It goes a little something like this. If you're up for a meet-up, I'm going to try and get some friends together, any of you guys. A bit of a rookie error. So good morning. This has been such a lovely morning for me for the last few days. I'm moored just before Dutton Lock, and I just wanted to show you something because I'm waiting here at the moment because obviously all the fuel boats are stuck on the system somewhere because of all the canal closures, and they're doing road deliveries. So I asked them if they could deliver to me on the Weaver, and they're coming out today. So they're bringing, I think they're bringing loads of jerry cans. So I'm hoping to get the boat filled up with diesel and also my own jerry can refilled. So that'll be great, because on this river, as I mentioned the other week, there's nowhere to get diesel, nowhere sells it. But anyway, here is something, it's a big screw basically. It's an Archimedes screw. Don't be rude. And this actually powers 150 homes. And it's just amazing. It uses the water that comes from the offshoot of the river, and it goes through and creates electricity. So this is quite amazing. The small hydraulic power scheme adjacent to the sluice uses the height difference between the pounds to generate electricity. So it's pretty amazing, isn't it? It was built in December of 2021, and by generating electricity this way, you're actually saving 190 tonnes of carbon dioxide. Wow. Yeah, I just thought I wanted to show you this because we all love a good screw, don't we? Another thing I've been doing whilst I've been moored here is my brother lent me his paddle board, so I've been having a go with that. And you know what? I absolutely love it. And I think it's really going to help improve my fitness because I'm on this river, I'm not single-handing locks at the moment because they're all manned. So by getting out on the paddleboard, it's really good for your arms and your stomach apparently and your balance. But I was really good on it, you know. I didn't fall off, so I felt dead proud of myself. So I'm just waiting now for the fuel van to arrive with all my diesel, and then I can crack on down through Dutton Locks and explore the rest of this beautiful River Weaver.
1 hour later.
Oh. There you go. Those guys are an absolute lifesaver. The boat's just took 60 litres and I've got my jerry can refilled. So that'll see me now for a good few weeks, because I forget, because when you're on these rivers, sometimes you are pushing against a bit of a flow. So you do use a lot more diesel than you would on the canals. But they are doing road deliveries now. With the network mostly short, they're being versatile and being able to get to us all. And it's lucky I was moored here where there is road access. Not a main road, but there's this little sort of bridleway that comes down. With all my diesel on board, it's now time to get through the last lock on the River Weaver, and this is Dutton Lock, and it takes 1 million gallons of water to fill, but because we're going downstream, we'll be emptying it. So I'm going to stop briefly at the bottom because there's a water point there, and then we're going to find another gorgeous little mooring today. Having my new addition to the fleet, this paddleboard, I've just noticed a major problem. A bit of a rookie error. When I strapped it down onto the roof, I've put the straps over the top of the centre rope. And when you go into the locks, you need to give your rope to the lock keeper. So I just made my first rookie error. because the paddleboard's new to me. I've obviously put a big strap on it and strapped it down so it doesn't blow anywhere, and put it over the top of the centre ropes. Now, as a single-hander, your centre rope is the most important rope, because when you step on and off the boat, it's the rope you have to pull your boat in and stop you losing your boat. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Oh. Anyway, this is Dutton Lock. So just whilst we're going down in the lock, I just thought I'd mention about the size of these locks. So apparently they fit 5 boats across. And I was talking to the lock keeper the other day, and he said that one day he had 25 boats in this lock. Not all of them full-size narrowboats, some of them were little cruisers and stuff, but they fitted 25 boats. That's amazing. It is just huge. And also a massive thank you to those that suggested names for my tiller pin. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later, because some of the suggestions, they made me howl. They were brilliant. So I've shortlisted a few, so we'll go through them a bit later.
Okay, thank you.
And we're off. So we're just going to stop very briefly just past the lock as the water point, and I want to show you this gorgeous little horse bridge whilst I'm there. The locks along this river were built in pairs, side by side, and back in the day it was bustling with ships and barges of every size, so the smaller, faster boats would nip through the narrower chamber while the bigger vessels took the wide one. These days, though, the traffic's long gone and usually just one of each pair is still working. So I've just had to be a little bit creative with my mooring because the river levels fluctuate so much up and down. The banking now is quite high. So my gunnels, I've shown this before, but my gunnels are going underneath the banking. So that means then that your cabin sides can get scratched and stuff. And the fenders sit below the gunnel. The gunnel's the bit you walk on, and that's the bit that mostly protrudes and normally resting against the bank. So those wheels I got years ago, I think I got them from Venetian Marina. They're just amazing. They're coming to their own on this river, using them all the time. You got to protect your boat, haven't you? Oh, just thought I'd show you. This is the old logo. It's got a bridge hole and it says British Waterways. Yeah, you don't see many of them around anymore. They're all like this now. Still not sure about that logo, to be honest, but you know, progress and all that. So just past the boats filled with water, I just thought I'd come and show you this. This is called a Dutton Horse Bridge, and it was built of timber construction around 1915, and it is just absolutely stunning. Apparently they use laminated green heart, and it's still standing to this day. Wow, it's just bloody gorgeous. So yeah, there's so much history on here. Imagine this, imagine bringing your horses over this, towing the big barges full of salt back in the day. Oh, I do feel quite honoured cruising all of this, I have to say. And you know what, I wasn't into history at school, I always hated it. But since living on narrowboats and passing through these beautiful places, I just love it. This incredible tug is the Daniel Adamson, a true survivor from the steam age. Built in 1903, she towed long chains of barges laden with goods from Cheshire and the Potteries to the great port of Liverpool. After her retirement in 1984, she was left to deteriorate, was vandalised and even set alight. But in 2004, tug skipper Dan Cross and the newly formed Preservation Society bought her for just £1 and began the huge task of restoring her. Thanks to their work, the Danny now sails this river once more, run entirely by volunteers, with every penny going back into her care. And every time I see her out there, she just makes me smile. How amazing to see the beautiful Daniel Adamson coming via the Dutton Viaduct, past the Dutton Horse Bridge and into Dutton Lock. That has just made my day. Anyway, the sun's decided to come out now and we're going to head to find ourselves a lovely little remote mooring. So this coming up here now is called Dutton Viaduct, and the trains go over this. It was built in 1836 and it's 60 feet high. And apparently back in the olden days they used cotton waste in part of the foundations to stop the vibrations. And then obviously in the 1960s they put all the power lines in and electrified the tracks. But back then it would have had steam trains going over it. But it's just gorgeous. I love this. And apparently one of the big claims to fame for it, built in 1836, was there was no major injuries or loss of life during the construction of this. So yeah, so it's got some tales to tell. Because you've got to remember as well, back then, there were so many deaths building things like this, you know, and digging out canals. But not there. Two little boats here moored, and that's because the house over there has no road access, so they have to use these little boats to get back and to. And I just think that is proper quirky in this day and age, and there are people living in it. So imagine that, I'm just nipping to the shop, love, to buy a pint of milk, and then, you know, you've got to walk a bit, get on a boat, toddle off across the river, get across and then get in your car. Just love it. I just think it's ace that your only way out your house is via a boat. Just think that's lovely. My aim for today is to get to a mooring called Devil's Garden, and I've done lots of research and I can't find out how it got that name, Devil's Garden. So I've decided to make up my own story. It goes a little something like this. So legend has it that back in the olden days some boaters were discussing a way of connecting this mighty river to the main canal network. And just as they were discussing it, a devil popped out of a bush, poof, from nowhere, and said if you leave a bottle of rum on your boat roof in the morning, a mighty huge boat lift will be built that will raise and lower boats from the river to the canal network, and it will last 150 years. So they left a bottle of rum on the roof, and then the next morning the boat lift was built. And boaters were using it throughout time, always leaving a bottle of rum at their boat roof at this particular mooring at the end of the Devil's Garden. So this carried on for the next 150 years, but the devil can be a bit of a snide and there's always a twist to his tales. So if ever a boater left a bottle of diluted rum on his roof, or a half-empty bottle, then the devil was very displeased and the lift would break. Sometimes just for a couple of days, sometimes for weeks, and sometimes for months, or even years. So what I want to know is which boater has left a really crappy bottle of rum on their roof for this lift to have been out of action for the last 7 months. But in all seriousness, if anyone does know why this is called Devil's Garden, then let me know in the comments. I'm just reversing to this little spot here because the banking looks a bit high over there. So how's this for another perfect mooring, eh? The River Weaver aces it again. And I was dead lucky because when I was coming into this mooring, the wind was blowing me. It's quite gusty today, blowing me right into this spot. And I fit perfect end to end. But I just love it here. And then tonight, I'm going to be putting a bottle of rum on that roof, a strong one, to see if it helps with the boat lift. If that myth, that story about Devil's Garden is true. Well, I only made it up about half an hour ago, but you never know, do you? Yeah, positive thinking, manifesting, all that sort of stuff. So I'm just making me dinner. I'm only having a stir fry, so it's really easy. I can cook these. I'm not a brilliant cook, but I can warm things up in the air fryer, my little oven, and heat things up in a pan. Yeah. So I'm having this tonight, a little bit of Thai red curry paste. I don't know if it's meant to go with stir fry, but it's the only moist thing I really had in the cupboard apart from pesto. And I have that on my pasta, which I virtually live off. I'm going to have this with some egg noodles. Oh. So I've been having a little bit of a think about which rum to use later. Oh, it smells nice. I love Thailand. Been 8 times backpacking. Anyway, whilst that's sort of cooking, I'll show you these rums. So I've got 3 really strong rums. So we've got this is Puss's gunpowder proof, and that's 54%. We've got this Stroke. Now this is meant to be really strong, but that's 40%. I think that's something different. But this one is, I've never tried this yet. I was saving it for a special occasion. 80%. If you can see that, 80%. Wow, that is strong. I think I might have a little taste of that actually. But this looks like it's the one. Just have a little tiny dot of rum. Ooh. So straw, Austrian. So we go, let's give it a taste. Bloody hell, it's burnt me nostrils. Oh, better check that food. Right there. I think that's done. It's turned into a big lump of something. Anyway, let's just wet the lips. Woo! Woo! Wow. I don't think I can even taste the rum. In fact, I think it's just took all my taste buds off. Ugh. So that's the one. That one will do. Hey, it's a good job it's took my taste buds off because I'm not sure what this food's going to be like. Anyway, I'm going to throw this on the roof tonight and see if the devil takes it, or at least a sip. Hey, never know. Tomorrow morning this boat lift might be fixed. Woohoo! Okay, so let's give this a try. This is stir-fried vegetables with fresh noodles and some Thai paste that I found in the cupboard. It's a bit hot, spicy, but I don't mind a bit hot and spicy. And that's took the taste off. So that'll do. Food's just fuel, isn't it, at the end of the day? So anyway, I'm going to eat this now and I'll see you in the morning. So good morning. We're going to go now and see if this rum's gone, or some of it at least. Ooh, the weather's not as good today by the looks of it. A little bit nipply on the old nipples. Well, the bottle's still there. Oh heck. Well, I don't think he's had any out of it. But who knows? If over the next few days there's some news that that wonderful boat lift is working, you know I did it to be part. Right. Oh, I've got to think of something else now. But the good news is the culvert at Ellesmere Port, the work started on that, and the water in the Ellesmere Port dock area is lifted, and that's why my friends came across yesterday on the ship canal. So I'm hoping it's not going to be too long before they fix that culvert, and then we can go across the Manchester Ship Canal and get onto the Shropshire Union. The thing is, if I go across the Manchester Ship Canal now, I'll just be stuck where they were in the basin at Ellesmere Port. So don't want to do that. At least I can move about on here. But you know what? It doesn't matter for now because this river is just beautiful, isn't it? It's gorgeous. Right, Bonnie, are we going to go for a nice walk? Eh? So we just got back off a lovely walk. I think it's Warburton Woods there. It was just beautiful. It's a really lovely mooring this. Anyway, Tullipin. Thank you to everybody who suggested all the names. I had loads of people emailing me, Instagram, Facebook, and obviously all the YouTube comments. So just a big thank you for taking the time to come up with a name for this ugly bugger. Yeah. So what I've done is I've shortlisted some. I've written some on my phone. And we'll sort of go through these together now, and then I'll probably make a decision next week. But obviously I had loads of ones like Phil McCracken and all that sort of stuff. Obviously, you know, you humorous ones out there just like me with your naughty senses of humour. A few people did suggest what I was originally going to call this boat. Well, it was a thought I was going to call this boat, which was the Mary Hinge. So some people come up with that because we don't know if this is a male or a female. It's hard to tell because, like I said last week, back in the olden days, lots of females dressed up as pirates so that they could board ships and go on adventures rather than staying at home cooking, cleaning and having babies. So we're not sure. Some people say it was definitely a woman because of the size of the shoulders. So yeah, but we had other suggestions as well. like Grumpy, which was the name of this boat when I first got it. Captain Morgan, which I thought was a good one, you know, named after the rum. We had names as well, such as Arthur, you know, keeping the pirate R's in there. Captain Weaver, because since this boat's been launched, we've been stuck on the Weaver. One of my favourites, Little Man in a Boat. Clyde, as in we've got Bonnie and Clyde, and also a few suggested One-Eyed Willie, but he's not wearing an eye patch, but it's hard to tell with his ugly mush. Yeah, so thank you for all those suggestions. I'm still not sure. I'm not sure any are ringing with me at the moment. It's got to feel right, hasn't it? You know, quite like the Mary Hinge. Yeah, call her Mary. And I quite like Little Man in a Boat. Yeah, so we'll make that decision over the next few days. And if you've got any more to add in there, or if you've got any votes to put on any of those, then let me know. But I'm just going to pour rum now, and I've been having a think. Some of you have been saying you wanted to have a bit of a meet-up. So I've been thinking, because I absolutely love it every time I see the Danny cruising this river, watching that bit of history go through, I thought, let's do a meet on the Danny. What do you think, Daniel Adamson? It's an amazing steamboat, and it's all run by volunteers, and every single penny they make on the Danny goes back into the care and love and doing it. And they do loads of different trips. They do just cruises, they take it across the Mersey, and there's not much of the season left. So if you're up for a meet-up, I'm going to try and get some friends together, any of you guys, and we go on it, because then you're helping that wonderful boat as well. Then let me know. I'll probably post on my social media on Facebook and Instagram. I need to have a look at all the dates and the availability and stuff. But if you are wanting to just us all have a bit of a social and all in aid of a good cause, then please follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and then hopefully the next few days I'll post a date and we'll go, eh? It's got a good few things. It's got a bar, which is wonderful. Yeah, not that I'm going to get drunk or anything, but it's just beautiful to experience this fantastic river. Anyway, we're going to have one of these, and a massive thank you to my pirate crew this week. You just make everything possible for me. This is a Stroh Jaeger tree. This is the smaller one, the 40% one, not the really strong one that we left on the roof. Doesn't smell as bad, and it's not taking the hairs off my nostrils. Yeah, so cheers everyone. Woohoo! Just wet the lips. Still really strong, but it's, oh, and it's burning me inside. But it's a lot more palatable, and it's got a really weird taste to it. That might be the because it says Jaeger tree. Jaeger tree Stroh, 40%. Yeah, it's got a very unique taste. I bet that's really lovely with a mixer. We might try that again with a mixer. So anyway, I'm going to leave the video here. If you have enjoyed it, please do give us a big thumbs up. It really helps the channel. Subscribe down below if you haven't already. And before I go, just a massive huge thank you to my lovely gorgeous patrons. So that's it. Please take care, stay safe, and please do keep an eye on my socials, because let's have a bit of a meet up, bit of a laugh, look at this beautiful countryside on the Daniel Adamson steamboat.
Crack the main stop. Will do.